February 20th, 2016. A light snowfall fell silently over the frozen valleys of Kashmir, but that silence was about to be broken. In less than 24 hours, a building full of students would be transformed into a battlefield, and young people with dreams would be trapped between two destinies: survive or die. This is the true story of courage, sacrifice, and a battle where every second cost lives. On the outskirts of Pampore, along the Srinagar-Jammu highway, stood the imposing building of the Institute for Entrepreneurship Development, a symbol of hope, a place where young people built futures. But that morning, someone had decided to turn dreams into tragedy. Hidden among snow-covered bushes, three men watched in silence, members of the Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist group. Their eyes were fixed on the road, their hands firm on AK-47 rifles. They weren't there by chance. They were waiting, and then the target appeared. A CRPF convoy advanced slowly. For a few seconds, nothing happened, until bang! A truck tire exploded. The convoy stopped. Two men got out, and at that exact moment, all hell broke loose. The terrorists opened fire without warning. Bursts of gunfire cut through the icy air. The sound of bullets echoed through the valleys. In a few seconds, chaos reigned. Two men fell: Bola Singh, R.K. Raina. 13 others were wounded, but that was only the beginning. Knowing they would be surrounded, the terrorists didn't flee. They ran straight to the EDI building. Inside, about 120 people, students, employees, ordinary people, living an ordinary day, until they heard the gunshots. Panic took over. Doors were locked. Rapid breathing. Eyes filled with fear. They were trapped, and the danger was climbing the stairs. Curiously, the terrorists found no one on the ground floor, so they advanced to the 5th floor, a decision that would change everything. Meanwhile, outside, security forces surrounded the building. CRPF, SOG, and soon the first return shots began. Bullets flew through windows, glass shattered, screams echoed. But there was a problem, a big problem. Civilians inside. Attacking meant risk. Not attacking also meant risk. Night fell, visibility disappeared, and the commandos tried to advance, crawling slowly, silently. But the terrorists had the advantage: height, vision, strategic position. When the commandos got close, they were met with a hail of gunfire, bullets passing within inches. The advance stopped, and then a tragedy. An innocent gardener was hit. He died instantly. At that moment, it became clear this would not be an ordinary operation. It was a near impossible mission. February 21st, 8 a.m., they arrived. The most lethal, the most trained, the commandos of Special Forces 9 and 10 paratroopers, led by a man known only as Oscar. Cold, experienced, calculating. He analyzed the scenario and made an immediate decision: divide and conquer. One team would keep the terrorists occupied. The other would enter silently. And leading this mission, a young man of only 23 years old, Pawan Kumar. 11 a.m. The attack began. Explosions and gunfire outside, perfect distraction. Meanwhile, Pawan and his team entered through the back. Absolute silence, step by step, controlled breathing until they found a door, locked. They opened it, and what they saw changed everything. Dozens of civilians, terrified, in silence, waiting for death. But at that moment, hope entered through the door. One by one, they were evacuated, safe, alive. After 24 hours of terror, Ibrinsus, the rescue was complete. Now, only one mission remained: eliminate the enemy. 1 p.m., tactical advance, and then a shot. Pawan was hit, but he continued. He advanced, he fired, he wounded a terrorist, but the price came quickly. 4 shots, direct shots. He fell, still conscious, still fighting, but his fate was already sealed. He was taken to the hospital, and hours later, he died. A hero. 5 p.m. The news arrived. Silence, then rage. Now, It was personal. A new strategy was devised. Airstrike entry from the top. The command was given to Tushar Mahajan. The operation began. Precision, speed, violence. 2 terrorists eliminated, but the price was high again. Tushar fell. Om Prakash, too, mortally wounded. When the fire finally subsided, something even heavier than the sound of the explosions came. Silence. A dense silence. Suffocating. The structure of the EDI building was still smoking. Broken glass, charred walls, corridors that days before echoed with laughter now carried the weight of death. The commandos walked slowly among the rubble. Each step, careful. Each look, heavy. They didn't celebrate. There was no victory there, only survival. Outside, ambulances were still lined up. The survivors began to emerge, covered in dust, red eyes, bodies trembling. Some cried, others just stared into the void, because there are experiences that change you forever. A student, still in shock, repeated, "I thought I'd never see my family again." Another simply couldn't speak. The trauma had already begun. While some returned home, other homes were about to receive devastating news. Officers began knocking on doors, one by one, and in each house the same script. Silence, a serious look, and then the phrase that destroys any family: "He didn't survive." In Pawan Kumar's house, time seemed to stop. But what happened there surprised everyone. His father listened. He took a deep breath and with firm eyes said, "My son fulfilled his duty." Without tears, just pride. Being a soldier isn't just about fighting. It's about accepting what might happen. Every mission could be the last. Every farewell could be final. Tushar Mahajan also had a family, dreams, plans, a future. But in that building, he made a choice to put the lives of others above his own. And that choice cost him everything. Days later, tributes began. Flags at half-mast, military ceremonies, salutes of gunfire. Their names were etched in history, but more importantly than that, they were etched in the memory of the people who survived, because for those civilians, they weren't just soldiers. They were the reason they were still alive. Many look at this story and see a confrontation, a military operation, a terrorist attack, but the truth is deeper. That was a game of decisions. Every choice mattered. Attack or wait, advance or retreat, risk or protect. And in the midst of it all, innocent lives. This kind of mission isn't black and white. It's grey, full of uncertainties, full of invisible sacrifices. Even after the flames die down, the war doesn't end. It continues in the minds of the survivors, in nightmares, in sounds that never fade, in the fear that arises without warning, and it also continue on the borders, in the shadows, where new threats are always emerging. Most of us will never be in a war zone, never hear gunshots echoing so close, never have to make life or death decisions in seconds. But someone does it for us every day and often, without recognition, without applause, just duty. In that building, some lost their lives, others gained a second chance, but all were marked forever, because sometimes heroes don't return home, but they ensure that others can return. If this story impacted you, show respect for these heroes. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share so that these stories are never forgotten.